Hello, good evening, everyone. We're back. It took a while. I think it's a few weeks ago until we did our last online meetup, but we're back and we're really excited because we have Samuel speaking. Let me pull him up on screen. Hi, Samuel. How are you doing?
Good, thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation.
Yes, well, first of all, thank you very much for being willing to present today. We hope that everybody's going to enjoy it. You're going to talk about headless with Nuxt.
Yes.
And maybe you can tell a little bit more about it. So where are you based actually? You're based in Freiburg?
No, I'm already in Vienna for almost 1 year, living in Vienna. I changed lately. The beginning of the year, I changed Storyblok, so I will be talking also mostly about Nuxt and how to use the Storyblok. And yes, I'm a big fan of the headless. I was looking for a long time for a headless CMS and how to use it, and I was in love in the Nuxt and Vue world already for 3 years, and then I was looking for the best headless CMS out there, and then I like Storyblok, and then somehow everything came together, and now I joined and I'm working there. So, but it wasn't. Believe me, at the beginning, I was just advocating for it because I really like the technology, and especially the combination of those two, like Nuxt and Storyblok. But I hope I will show it to you, and then other people will think same.
That's really exciting. You're also a big community member. So for the people that are watching tonight, maybe they don't know, but you also do a lot for the Vue community itself, right? So what do you do?
I mean, depends. I don't create a lot of plugins. I wouldn't say like I wrote a lot of code. I was speaking on few meetups, and mainly on the meetups that as I was changing the between the jobs, then I took something like did a little own road trip. So basically something to similar to Vue.js road trip you had. Then I just did it through the German meetups. And yes, then I try to help with the meetups right now in Vienna. Before that, in Basel, where I was working for a company also. So yeah, I don't. It's hard to say if you are really doing a lot for the community. I hope I do my best.
I think it's highly appreciated by everybody. Everything you do and everything you contribute. That's what this community makes to what it is today. So I think that's very unique and very special to see. I don't want to keep people waiting any longer. Usually, how we do it, Samuel does his presentation, and if you have a question, just ask it in the comment box. And by the time that Samuel is done with his talk, I will pull up all the questions that have been gathered over his talk, and then we do a little Q&A session afterwards. So please, people, enjoy. Samuel, good luck. I'm pretty sure you're going to do a great.
Thank you very much.
And enjoy.
Yeah, thank you very much. So when I share my screen, hopefully it will work, everything. Let me know if it's working. Now I don't know if it's working.
It's working perfectly, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Thank you very much for the notice. So hi, everybody. One more time, you already probably heard my name and you know something about me. So there will be a lot of slides, and the time of the presentation is approximately 30 minutes. And after that, you can ask me any questions. If you will have any question after the talk and after this whole session is done, then just write me on this Twitter. This is down there here, Samuel Snopko, and all the DMs are open for you, and you can just write me and ask any questions about the Nuxt.js Storyblok. I'm always happy to help. So we are going to basically going to be fast. So I'm not going to talk about the basics of the Nuxt.js. I am going to show why the Nuxt.js is really great framework, and why the Nuxt.js is great to work with headless CMSs, and in my case, in the Storyblok. But if you have any other preferences, go for it and use it. It's really great technology, and especially to creating a website with any headless CMS. So the second slide it's a little bit about me. What Jos already asked me. So I'm currently working as a head of dev relationships in Storyblok. So yes, I'm a little bit biased for Storyblok, but I was advocating for Storyblok before I was working there. And I think it's important to say really I like it, and basically I was one of the first advocates, and yeah, that's my road. Before that, I was working as a front-end night and designer, so I really like working in the web industry like for almost 7 years or 7 and more years, and in IT even more. I hope I'm speaker already. It didn't have any big speakers like conferences, mostly meetups, helping to meetup organizers and always answering the questions about Vue.js and Nuxt.js, which I'm a big fan of. And lately, I am learning also other frameworks. As head of the DevRel, I have to do that, but you know, the Vue.js and Nuxt.js is still closest to my heart. And big Star Wars fan. So if you have any real questions about the Star Wars, we can also discuss the other one. But that was enough about the slides. Let's jump to the coding. So as I said, we are going to today build something with the Nuxt.js, and I'm going to present you basically how to do it very fast. So the first thing you will do with the Nuxt.js is what? And this is like create the application, like starting. We are going to start from the beginning. So for all the beginners, there will be also something bringing. For all those already experienced, don't worry, it will not take long. So first of all, just go there and use a create a Nuxt app. And I'm going to call it Blazingly Fast Showcase. So what's here is happening is we're installing the Nuxt.js in our project. I'm preferring still Java, script, Yarn, and we are going for Tailend, which I think is another great technology you should discover and you try. For this project, we don't need any Axios content or progress web app. And yes, the content is a great thing, and we can discuss what is the differences between the content and the headless CMS at the end of the presentation. If you have any questions about that, so let's continue. Linting tools, definitely use linting tools. I'm not going to use linting tools today because it will slow us down, and we need to be really fast and furious. But my recommendation is like find your setup for it and use it. No testing. We have only 30 minutes. We are going for SSR and SSG, and we are going for static website. And I'm using VS Code. So in this case, just take this one. Okay, let's see the installing, and let's use the first shortcut where you will end something like here. You will have the project where you will install all your npm packages, and if you go to yarn dev, you should see the welcome screen from the Nuxt.js. So let's see what's happening. It's a building. The localhost should be up and running. So let's check the localhost first, and we already installed the Nuxt.js. It's working. The first index page is there, and we see some content, which is like statically written into index page of the Vue.js. So what is next? What we are going to do next? The next, we need to prepare also the Storyblok side or the headless side, which in our case, I'm going to head to the Storyblok. So there's a app which calls Storyblok, and after installation, you are welcome in the welcome screen like this. And I need to create a space where will be living my content. And then I will be like consuming this content using the Nuxt.js. And everything under 30 minutes. And hopefully we will show you how it look like the setup for the block. So if you want to create your own block after this presentation, you should have idea how to do it with the Nuxt and the Storyblok very fast. So let's start with creating a new one. And usually I would go for playing demo and showing the Storyblok, but this is not the case. We are going for create a new space. And let's call the space Blazingly Fast Showcase, as we are showcasing this. So let's create a space. After creation of the space, we just jump directly to the space. And the first you can see, there are a few steps. But as you can see, and we all are experienced, we can just skip the tutorials. Because who used them, of course? That was a joke, use them. And the content. So we are in the content, and Storyblok, which is a little bit funny, is not doesn't create the empty space. We created the first story for you, and this is the home. We just call it story, and basically the home represents homepage. But in the case you're creating an application that is not exactly a homepage, it could be also like the first screen of your mobile application or whatever else. Okay, let's jump in and let's see what is it. So basically the page consists of the visual editor, which doesn't work at the moment because we didn't set up it, and there is like no preview. But on the right side here, you can see already some content. So the page consists already from a teaser, which consists only the words hello world, and we could change it to hello view world. And then there is like some grid, which is also configured, and there are like 3 features which we can like check and edit. We can reorder and do the basic stuff as usually you can do. We can save it, and of course we can publish it, but nothing will change, nothing will happen. But we already have an API by Storyblok, and we can see what will this GraphQL or REST API will deliver. And in the case of the REST API, that will be delivered like JSON like this, which we will be consuming in the Nuxt in a second, and we will be rendering our website. Okay, so this is the sample of the JSON. Very quickly, I'm not going to talk in detail about. So what would be the next step? And the next step is that we are missing is that we have already Storyblok with some content, and we have also the Nuxt.js. So both of the technologies need to be connected somehow. And for the connection of the technology, we just jump back to the code, and we just installed the very easily a module for it for the Nuxt, which is called, of course, Storyblok Nuxt. Hit enter, and after the installation, we are ready. We just need to move one last piece of code, and everything should work. So what is that? As you could see on the homepage here, this is the first step you should do is basically like download package and use the API token. And we can see the API token here in the middle. And using this token, I am able to access all the content from this space and use it on my website. So let's do that. Yeah, I'm just copying this token, and I'm just running to the Nuxt.js config. And in the Nuxt, I already installed the module for it. So all I need to do is just uncomment this code. So configure the Storyblok Nuxt module, because I would do a lot of typos if I don't do it this way, and just save it. And in this case, if I start the Nuxt, so yarn dev, of course with typo, everything should work. We should have the connection up and running. So let's check it here. Reload, and we should see still the same screen. That would be positive. So there will be like no change. So as you can see, there are no errors, and that's positive. So cool. So what will be the next thing? What we need to do is that if we open the story, is that we don't see any preview, and we want to see a preview of our website. And this is the very important point where we need to use the local host in this case. And the local host is the URL here. So, okay, first I will copy the URL of the local host I want to present. And then I see that I should have here the local host URL, but at the moment it's like your server address. And I didn't configure it. So let's configure it, which is super easy. Just jump back to the settings of the space, and we can change the location of the default environment to our local host. This works in this case on localhost, but if I would go for Vercel or Netlify or any Heroku application, I can create a multiple preview URLs like this, localhosts, and just save them. And then I have an option to choose from them. So in this case, if I go back to the content and open the homepage or story, I should see a difference, and I see the error. And this is suddenly the error in this case is good, because we see a Nuxt.js error. And that means that we already have the connection. And we can see here the URL of our page we are trying to achieve. And you can see there is still a /home. But we didn't define any page in Nuxt.js for a home, did we? No, we didn't. We just have an index page. So this is probably the problem. And this is probably also the error that we are getting from the Nuxt.js. How to fix this is that there's a quick hack. Just override the real path for this one homepage, because every homepage needs to have a name, but the name usually is used as a slash in your URLs. So in this case, I just override the real path, I just save it, and we see the first welcome screen from the Nuxt.js. Okay, this works. So I see the Nuxt.js page in my headless CMS, and this is great. But still, I didn't see and didn't use the content. So I need to use the content in my page. What do I need to do it? So as the Nuxt.js is built on the components, which is like just the next step on the atomic design. So basically, it's a component-based design, and we can like shape and put all the content and logic into different components, and from these components build the bigger components. At the end, we can build the website. And the same idea has that Storyblok. So we have a components which are defined here, and these are the schemas of the components. And in our case, we decided to differ between two types. One of the type is the content type, and the second type is nestable, or we call them also blocks, because of the Storyblok, and you have a stories with the blocks. So in this case, you can see that we have a page, which was the home, the story, and there is only the body. And into the body, you can put any other components which are nestable. So logically, you could use features, grid, and teasers. Okay, but what are the features, teaser, and grids? What they are composed from? So the feature is just a very easy component, which basically consists from the text, as you can see, and we didn't set up there anything more complicated. The same goes for the teaser, which is using the headline, but it's also the type text. So it's only one input field. And the grid is basically a columns, which you can also like include multiple different components. So in this case, we are using their features in our sample. So as you can see, we define a component in the Storyblok, but we didn't do that in the Nuxt.js, and that is the missing piece here. So we can, I will jump really quickly back to the Nuxt.js, and all we need to do basically is just define those components. As you can guess, I already like cheated a little bit, and I prepared myself. So the feature is here, and using the tailwind, I just styled basically a headline of a feature. Then I'm having only one props using which I am sending the object, which will contain basically at the end the name. Then I have a grid which consists of unordered list, and using the flexbox, it will order my features, which I am using in the Storyblok, and defining. And here I'm using the dynamic component. This dynamic component is basically taking the name of the component I'm sending from the Storyblok and using that as rendering the correct component. So if I would ask for rendering the teasers, it will be rendered teasers. This is what makes it dynamic. I'm not fixing it to one type of the component in this case. And also the same pattern here, I'm sending the blocks as an object to down to the stream and basically just rendering data here. As you can see here, to the component, I will send another time the block. So at the end, the feature will be getting also the block. The same goes for the teaser, which is doing nothing else, just rendering the headline. And this is very easy and very simple, because I want to just present this and then later create an article and featured article component, which I will create, you will see like in 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, that's teaser. What else we need to do? We have the components, but we're still missing that we didn't register them. So let's register them very quickly. So we registered the page, teaser, grid, and feature. And I didn't introduce the page, but the page is also like getting all the components on the page level from the body and then rendering the correct components in the case and in the order that it's getting from the page. So what I'm talking about right now, you may ask. So let's jump back to the Storyblok, to the content, and let's see. This home is a page. You can see that's here. So this is the page component type is page. And if I open it and show you the JSON, then this JSON consists from multiple other components. So in this case, the body contains a teaser, which is the first here. So you can see here's a teaser. This is the component type teaser. And then there is a component type grid, which you can see also here. And the component type grid contains 3 features. So here are the 3 features. And these are always the component, which we are saying like, hey, render a feature and render the feature with this kind of data. Great. So that sounds easy, I think. And it shouldn't be a problem to understand. So it's saved. I rebuild my Nuxt.js application, but I still don't see any difference here. I still don't see my data here. And the problem why is that we didn't change our index page. So let's load the data. Let's quickly jump back to the pages and open the index page and basically remove all the default code from the Vue.js, Nuxt.js, guys. Just add there a section which is doing nothing else as deciding which component should be rendered. Then we don't need the logo in this case, so we are making it very short. Then I will uncomment this this commented code, and I will get back in soon, and then remove all the style because we are using Tailwind. So basically, the final code is shorter than before, and what we are doing right now. So we're defining that the data will be stored in the story and the content, and in this case, it's empty. We will load it using the async data from the context, and to make it very easy for this presentation, we just loading the home. So basically only one story of type home and in the version of draft. And if it's loaded without any problems, then we will replace the data with what we get. If there will be any problem, then we will catch error, of course. But in the real world, what you would do is, according to the context, you would basically calculate the slack. You should ask Storyblok for a data, and then directly you will ask it. So if there will be complicated folders or other stories. And of course, as we are in the world where we need to have a draft and publish because we need to have some content altering and other functions and CMS, then we are asking usually for two different types of content. In the case of development environment, it could be a draft, but if we are going to deploy something to the public, then it will be only the published content. And this can be decided like this. Okay, let's save it. Let's see if we get an error. We are green here. And let's back to the localhost. So after reload, hopefully we see some difference. And there is, of course, a problem. And the problem is, give me a second. I guess that I will restart localhost here. As always, the live coding, something will happen. It works without any problem like 2 hours ago. Getting any errors. So our clients are rendering unknown element page didn't register page correctly for recursive. So we didn't correctly register the page. Should be registered correctly. Yes, of course, we forgot. The last thing I forgot is also to include the plugins. And sorry for this interruption. I always forget something there. So of course, I registered the component in the component.js, but I forgot to register the plugin in the Nuxt.js. So now it should work. So let's go back and see if it's working. Yes, it's working. So you can see that there's a preview, and you can even see the outline here in the Storyblok. And this is a special feature which is brought by the module that we built. And then this is using the view word and the editable in our case, which will create a connection basically between the component here and the content editor on the right side. So I can click here on the left side, and I can see I can see also the correct content is all open on the right side. And after save, I should reload as it works. So right now I can go like, this is a cool feature. This is cool feature, and save it. And after save, it's reload. And then can I also reorder it, save it, and it will always update. But this could be even better. It could be even more cooler, and we can call it, how can we do it cooler, is that we are now listening for the publish event and change event, and using the Storyblok bridge, which is brought us to us by the Storyblok module, we updating basically the root in the Nuxt. But what if we are not, we don't listen for publish and the change, but we are going to allow, I'll listen also for the input event. So if we do that and wait for reload, and it hopefully everything's work, then we should see the install update now. I need to reload it. So give me a second. You won't. And now you can see basically that as you are changing on reordering the content, or you are going to like copy paste it and also delete it, you can see the live preview. This I think this is a really cool feature for all the editors that want to do a little bit experiment with the different content and how it will look like on different devices, like on the mobile, on the iPads, etc. So okay, this is cool, but still I did promise a little bit more. I promised to show you the articles and feature the articles. So what we should do to do that? and we need to create a new component for that. So first of all, let's create an article. So I'm going to back to component. I'm going to create an article, which will hold our which will of course contains our article. And in this case, it should be a content type because it is probably it will be in the future a page or something. So let's create it, and I'm going to give it a title, intro, and outro. Title, intro, and outro. And of course, you would go for like content or something. But in this case, I'm not going to render the whole page because we don't have a time for that. In title, I'm happy with the text. Let's make it required. The intro will be a little bit longer text, so I'm not going to use any like rich text editor or markdown. I'm going for just a long text. And the outros, let's make it. It will be like a single option, so you can choose from the multiple options. So I'm going to create a single option, and the possibilities there will be like Samuel and also like Dominic. Let's create 2 of them. Okay, I created basically my article, like very simple article. And right now I would like to create a new article. So how and where I should go. So I'm going to content, and I would like to have all my articles, of course, in one folder. So let's create the articles folder for it. Articles, save. You maybe heard my daughter there. And here in articles, I forgot to configure that folder. So I would like to choose that it should be like articles inside. And also I want to like disable the Visual App Composer because we don't have any Nuxt.js template for our articles. So okay, I just save it and create the first article. So my first article and save it. So right now we just jump here. I prepared sample content that I'm not like writing and doing like a lot of typos here. So I just took some text from the Nuxt website, and I will be the author this time for it. And here I of course set up it wrongly. So if I could change it, for example, let's save this. And if I would love to have this as a rich text editor, I get just so quickly change it. And then you can see I have here down rich text editor. So okay, let's publish my first article, and let's go back and let's create 2 more articles just to have it. So this will be the second article, and okay, open, and in this case, you guess, but Storyblok is cool. And I'll replace this, and Dominic will be the author, cool, and let's create even the third article, just to have it a little bit more of it. So copy, let's call it third, duplicate, and let's say that Vue.js Amsterdam is great event. So, and publish it. So I created 3 articles, and I promised to feature them on our homepage. So how to feature them? Because as you can see, I have only folders with some content. I could download this with using the content delivery API, and I can use it. But I would like to make be a little bit dynamic. I would like to say I want to show these 3 articles on my homepage, or maybe only these 2 articles. So how to do it? We need to, of course, a nestable component called block. So I'm going to jump back and create 1 more component, which will be called featured articles. We'll just double check if is the name correct. Yes. And here I basically I'm going to choose from articles that I want to show on the page. So in this case, let's say it's multi-option because I want to maybe choose multiple of them. And the source will be, in this case, the stories. It will be not the external source. I just go for stories. So, and from the folder articles. Okay, I can save it. And I just set up my featured articles component. So let's try it and I wrongly, of course, set its content type, and that was wrong. Excuse me, it should be nestable, of course. This was wrong because we want to use it in our page. So now it's okay. Let's go back to the content. Let's open the home story. And then let's add it there. So, okay, here's it, featured articles. And I would like to choose from the articles. And I see all of 3 there here. And I can choose them. I can save it. And I can publish it, but I don't see the preview, but I should see it in my JSON. So if I go down here, there should be, yes, here is it. Here's the component featured articles, and it consists an array of UUIDs of 3 articles I choose. Okay, let's close this. So what we need to do is, of course, create the featured article also in the Nuxt.js. So let's do it a little quickly. As you can guess, I already prepared for that. So here's the featured article. And basically, it's an unordered list of articles with a headline, which I, of course, forgot to put there into the component. So we can fix it in a moment. And there's a little bit styling. And as you can see here, I'm using the article teaser. So I am using one more component inside that it's not, it's left not here a lot of code. So in this case, here the article teaser do nothing else, just render the title, intro, and the author, and brings a little bit tailwind styling. So basically, there is like no logic and just a little bit styling. This is for the shadow. So that was featured article, and I think that's all the components. We need to also register the two new components. In this case, I'm doing it globally. You don't have to do this. There are better ways to do it in Nuxt.js. Right now, it's even dynamic according to that what you are loading in the pages. But still keep it this way, that it's pretty straightforward what I'm doing and what's happening. So, okay, right now, the Nuxt.js should work. Okay, we are green. And if we go to the page, we already see here the placeholder for that, but there's still no content. And we even see that it's featured articles called. So the right content on the right side is open, but we don't render the content of it. And the first problem is that we forget the title, so fix that. Okay, let's add title here into the featured articles. So I just add here text. It's okay. I have to save it, of course. I don't have to write it, so let's call it featured articles. So we see that the component is working. And why there are no articles, like no teasers for the articles shown, is because we don't send any data to the Nuxt.js. So if I open one of the JSON and I go here, we just have the UIDs. We didn't load the data of those articles. So we need to load the data. There are multiple ways how to do that. You can resolve it, like resolve the relationship, and then your final JSON will get all the data from also that articles. Or you can use pretty cool features on the Nuxt.js site, which is the fetch. So what I'm going to do is in the index page here, I'm going to use the Nuxt.js fetch and asynchronously load basically the data into the store. So it's very easy. In this case, if I already loaded it, it's just one. It's very easy sample. Of course, you should do it a little bit more complicated. So here in articles, basically I'm loading, I'm asking the Storyblok API for all the stories that are in the folders articles and are in the draft version. You could, of course, have a multiple parameters to set up like only first 3 stories and filter them and that kind of stuff. Then I'm going to set them into the store, and then I'm going to say that, yes, I already loaded the articles. So you probably wonder what is in the store. Store is super straightforward and super easy. As you can see, I call it references, and there's only basically an array of articles, which is empty, and the loaded is by default 0 because they are not loaded. And after the and then 2 mutation. So no magic here, really. And this, which I am showing, is already a little bit deprecated because I would already recommend you to use a new fetch, which on the component base, and you can do all this magic in the featured articles. But I still kind of also like this approach. So there's like some pros and cons. And right now, we loaded the data. So if I go to the featured articles, you can see that I am loading my data for the articles from the store. And basically it's here. And I'm going to also like return all the articles that includes the UIDs. So the array of the UIDs I'm sending is used to filter the articles and use only the articles that are selected. So let's see if it's working. And yes, we already see the preview. That's cool. So if I uncheck it, and I need to reload it, of course, because the code is a little bit behind, you can see that everything is changing. But there's still one problem that I want to show, and then it's basically the presentation is done. Is that okay? How to change it? And this is what I like on the Nuxt.js, because the old world was like, okay, I definitely want to choose the order of the articles they are featured. Some of them are like have higher priority than other one. So I can select here and reorder my articles, and the UIDs will change. But you can see in the Nuxt.js or on the page, they are not changing the positions, even if I save it and publish it. And the problem is that we didn't load them in any order, because we did just use that. If the UID is there, just give it them. So as they are created, that's the order how they are shown here. But if I would like to order them, it's super easy. It's just one. It's basically these 3 lines, which of the code. We could say 2 lines of the code, which use the sorting, which is like definition of the sorting function, that do only that compare the index of the UID of the articles that are coming against the articles that are in the store, and basically reorder it in the correct order. This is very easy. You can read the documentation, official documentation about it, and it's done. So basically, you can see here, this is the whole magic. And after save, and just like one more time, I do the reload. You can see that if I reorder, then the Vue.js Amsterdam is great, should go on the last place. So it's here, and I can do this. And this is what I think is cool on the combination of the headless world and the Nuxt.js world, because all the complicated logic which was coded somehow in the backend can be done by the Nuxt.js. At the end, you just render a static website. You can go for the deploying to Netlify or Vercel. It's already like prepared packages for you. You just install them and it's running. And then in the headless CMS or in the Storyblok, you can just quickly copy paste your content and experiment with it. So if you have featured articles and now you want to have on the articles about the Nuxt.js, so you can just rename the title, just unselect the 2 articles that are not directly about the which are not, which is now the Nuxt.js article. Yeah, this one. And just keep the Nuxt.js articles there. You can write also like some filters, etc. You can then error order, and this is, in my opinion, is like big plus in the headless world. I'm not saying about the security and all other pros which they have. So that was it, and let's jump back to the presentation, which has 2 more slides. The next slide is basically just the link where you can read and continue in the sample, because there is like a lot of more. There's like multi-language and all that stuff you can do with the Nuxt.js. And even if you know the Vue.js tips, then they rebuilt it also with the Nuxt, the Vue.js, and with Storyblok, and you can read the whole tutorial how they did it, how they created the Vue.js, and how they do searches and all the crazy stuff. So hopefully that was something bring this to you, and hopefully you can already use it tomorrow. And thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to any question from you. And here.
Woo!
Okay.
Nice, Samuel. Very good. We actually already have some. We already have some questions. There was a lot of interaction during your talk. We are streaming 3 different platforms. So we're using Periscope for Twitter, and then we're streaming to our YouTube channels. I'll start with an easy one, because somebody's wondering if you have a Git repo or an article with all of this information you're telling us.
Yeah, of course. There are Git repos for all the tutorials we have. So the Nuxt.js, there are big repo, and this demo, what I am currently showing, I can share it. I'm just thinking it's somewhere publicly accessible. But the GitHub repo is basically accessible. If you go to the Storyblok account, then you will find the Nuxt.js blazing fast. Or I can send it somewhere if you tell me where. Yes.
Okay.
But yes, there. Just don't have the link right now. I can share it.
No problem. I will share it in our newsletter, and then I'll add it to the comment section in the videos itself, so people can watch it back. Then I have a question from Kamyar, and I think you're going to be a little bit biased on this question, so I'm not too sure if it's completely fair. But I guess it depends a little bit on what you're using and what you're using for. And I don't know that if it's exactly related to your talk, of course. But he's wondering, should I go with Svelte or with Vue?
Yeah, I mean, like the answer from my side is Vue, but honestly, I will be honest, I didn't basically experiment with the Svelte so much. I like the Svelte that it's coming here because there is a new competitor in the world, which make us the world better, I think, because we have to be better also in the Vue world, which brings Svelte was like at first I know it was like really performant, and as a reaction from other frameworks, also the React framework, they made themselves even a little bit faster. And I'm not how it's now right now, but I know like at least this is very good because there is a competition and we have to fight. And the more ideas we are coming, I mean fight in the good way, and more ideas we are coming, so we can get the inspiration from React, from Svelte, and they can get inspiration from Vue. So I think this is very healthy for the whole thing. But for now, I would go for Vue as I know the environment, I know the community, and the environment is just great.
Good,
Yep.
Nice.
No surprise.
The question is from no, I already said it at the beginning. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a very biased question for you. So it's hard to be completely objective, of course. Nothing wrong to Svelte, by the way.
Yeah.
I have a question from Nick McBurney. He is asking, how do you recommend adding global data from CMS, for example, navigation links, within a layout file?
So yes, this is a good question. Basically, this depends on the strategy you are using right now. So if you are going for definitely layout file, I'm using always layout file. I usually also use the store, but with Nuxt.js and currently with the new fetch, you could do it also on the component. And if you are going for static websites, so you at the end you're producing a static HTML, it's not don't matter so much, because your content so your content is static. It will not update so often, and it will mostly update only on the point as you are publishing your content in the head and the CMS. So there will be a trigger which will then redeploy whole your website. But yes, definitely the navigation link. What I am usually doing in the headless CMS and especially in Storyblok is that I'm creating a special file which is called settings, basically, or navigation if you want, and then I will define my whole navigation there, because usually I'm the fan that where I want to have the power of the navigation, and I want to say what's the navigation. Don't want to like just generate it according to the folder structure, basically. And then in layout file, yes.
Understood. Thank you. Next question is from a dangerous visitor. It's called the Shark. He's wondering, could I also define a relation not by path, as shown in featured articles with /articles, but by type as well?
No, that's a good question. I would have to look into the API, but you can like you don't have to go for folder, because the articles in this case is a folder, and you can ask for all the stories and you can filter them. And in my opinion, we should have also the filter for the type of the component. So yes, that should be able, but I'm not 100% sure right now. I can check it if you want, but let's ask me it in Twitter. If you have a Twitter or a Discord, ask me there, or even on our live chat on the storyblok.com. Just ask that Samuel send you there, and you have this question, and I will answer you. On 100%, but 99%, I think you can do that.
Nice. Next question is from Megafonks. What happens with the headless when the headless server goes down? Will people still be able to access my website?
Yes, they will be. It's of course depends on the strategy used, because nowadays I would strongly recommend for the server-side rendering or SSG, so static website. So basically your content is mostly living as not content. The website is living and is already deployed on the Netlify or Versa or any other or AWS, and it's already there. So if would one of the servers go down, which never happened till now in few years, then your website will be still accessible. What will be not accessible is basically you would not able to be edit the content, of course, but you will not lose it. So you will be like, your website will be freezed basically, but everything would work. This is not true if you have a very complicated application that is like single page application, which is in the communication with the API. In that case, of course, it will not work. But this is the case of any other servers where you have active backend.
Understood. Let's knock on wood.
Yeah, I mean, we hope so. That like it's never happened for now, and we have a backups. Don't worry, really.
Last question from Willy. He was wondering, because you were using old version of Nuxt, if there was any reason behind it.
On time. So really sorry, I have to update it. That's true, definitely. In the latest project, I'm already and working on the article and using the new fetch. This is exactly the version which was I think the last version before the new fetch was introduced, which was 5.11, I think, or something like, or 10.1, I think. And yes, it's old version, but still all the things you saw you can use and without any problems also in the new Nuxt.
Willy had some eyes for detail there. Wow. Now, really, the last question from Megafonks. I'm pretty sure it's not the case. Is Storybook and Storyblok the same?
No, and this is a lot of people are confused, of course, about it. So Storyblok is a headless CMS, and Storybook is it's a platform for it's basically a design system, or I'm not sure what they are, how they define it, but it's like where you want to preview your components. So it's a library which helps you create the library of the components and design system for your website or application.
Understood.
You can combine them. Sorry, you can combine it if you want.
Okay, and in what way? Sorry.
You can combine it directly, that you will keep the content in the Storyblok, because we really like for focusing on the Storyblok and on the whole workflows about the Storyblok. Sorry, about the content. So approval and doing a different releases, freezing the content and all the stuff. And you can, of course, use that content then in the Storybook, let's say using the API. This is like just simple content, for example.
Clear. Well, thanks so much, Samuel. Thanks for taking time on your Thursday evening for us and for the Vue community. I'm pretty sure everybody really enjoyed it. As you can see, there was a lot of interaction. Were quite some questions. So I want to thank you for your presentation, and we hope to have you over again soon.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Also, it was nice to be here, and hopefully we'll see soon in the real Vue.js Amsterdam conference in January, and it will happen. Let's hope for it. I'm looking forward.
I think everybody is hungry for it, so let's hope we can make that happen.
Yeah.
All right. Definitely. Thank you very much. Yeah, fingers crossed, indeed. Thanks.
See ya.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much for all joining tonight. I know it's also your evening off, or for some people in the world, it's of course during the day. But it's always grateful to see that so many people show up for our online meetups. We really cannot wait for the next one. Our next one is going to be next week. It will be a front-end love edition, and we will have a Recoil.js talk. So please check out our LinkedIn page from that love to be notified about it. And over there, we will give you the new link to the next stream. So one more time, thank you very much, Samuel, for presenting. And thank you to all the viewers for being here. I hope you had a great time, and we hope to see you soon. Bye.